Hey, it's Jayzo. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't already, please press the like button and subscribe. No, I'm just joking. This is my TCH 219 Disciplinary Literacy Project. For this project, I interviewed a co-owner of a tumbling business named Nikki Donato. She started her career as a tumbling instructor when she was 16 and has had many different jobs at various gyms around central Illinois. Her passion for helping kids refine and build their skills escalated to the point where she decided, with the help of her friend, to open their own business. They found an old building, tore it to pieces, dug a big hole in their floor, and transformed the building from this dull-colored room to this bright, welcoming gym. When interviewing Nikki, I told her most people are taught that literacy is the ability to read and write, and that is exactly how I defined literacy when I entered this class. As I explained to Nikki, I learned that literacy can be defined differently by everyone in the world around us. The world around us is filled with literature, whether it be a stop sign on the corner or a picture painted by a 2-year-old. Literacy is the ability to gain knowledge with our experiences around us. After providing Nikki with some insight of how literacy has been defined throughout this semester in my TCH 219 class, I asked her a series of 5 questions. To start, I asked Nikki, is literacy conceptualized within her discipline? So, what does it mean to be literate in the scope of tumbling and basic gymnastics? After being asked this question, Nikki answered by stating, in coaching tumbling and gymnastics, there are many examples of why literacy is important. Knowing the difference between the two sports is one example, and being able to describe how they are both interconnected. They have similar components but have different equipment requirements. Knowing the vocabulary of the skills being taught to students is also key. Not anyone can or should be hired as a coach without having previous experience and knowledge and knowing the language and abbreviations when following a lesson plan. Also, being able to interact and communicating with the kids and parents plays a huge role. Being able to break skills down and explain progression of a skill helps to help the student achieve their goals. Therefore, a big part of the literacy in this discipline revolves around safety. In physical education, safety is always important, but in a sport or activity such as these, safety becomes more of a risk. The literacy involved in tumbling and gymnastics helps with this safety. Being literate and interacting with kids is a large part of this that can be applied to all aspects of physical education. Because if you cannot interact with the kids and connect with them on a personal level, then you will not be able to teach them at all. The second question I asked Nikki was, are there certain skills that are necessary to be literate in your discipline that may differ from traditional definitions of literacy? So, what constitutes being literate in tumbling that is not just reading or writing? Her answer to this question was, anyone hired to coach should be able to exchange verbal cues with other coaches for setting up drills or stations for skill progression, observe a skill and give corrections, learn a student's speed and strength while spotting a skill, and also physical and verbal clues when a child may be having a mental block or difficulty performing a skill. So sure, there is no authentic schooling that is required to be a tumbling instructor, but with no background knowledge, however, you need to acquire the knowledge of how to spot safely and how to determine when a kid is physically and mentally prepared to learn a new skill. Certain skills build off of others, so it is important to have the knowledge for the right skill progression. The next question I asked her was, are there specific cultural components attached to the literacies within this discipline? Is there anything related to the literacy of tumbling that is related to specific cultures? She relayed back to me that as a coach, there are many cultural differences to be aware of. Some students may not speak English well, but they know they are doing a job well done with a high five. There are also students we interact with that have different learning or social abilities. It is necessary to recognize these students and learn how to communicate in their comfort zone. Therefore, it is very important to be accepting when working with any human being. Not having a positive environment can be detrimental to the abilities of that person. The fourth question I asked Nikki was, are there literacy skills that entry-level members of this field have to learn anew? Are there any literacy skills in this field that someone would not be aware of without any prior experience? Her answer to this question was, as she has mentioned before, previous experience is a must when coaching tumbling or gymnastics. Some are natural at leading and working with children, some choose to coach on a competitive level, and others enjoy recreational classes. No one can walk in and apply without a significant amount of experience and expect to be hired or know if they would enjoy working as a coach. In the video I have provided on this slide is another tumbling instructor. It is essential for the instructor to have some experience or knowledge of the skills or sport they are teaching. Most, if not all, instructors at this establishment have taken tumbling or gymnastics during their life. They have all progressively learned how to properly spot and be able to refine the skills of each child. They know what kid is developmentally ready for each specific skill. Our interview concluded with my fifth and final question. This question was, how can schools improve their efforts to equip students with the essential literacies of this field? What valuable skills can schools try to teach students that is related to tumbling? She answered with, schools could add a tumbling or gymnastics unit to their curriculum starting in kindergarten with very basic skills. Difficulty could be added to each grade level and be modified as needed. By doing so, it would help teach strength, flexibility, discipline, and give a good base for other sports. To add on that, tumbling and gymnastics can help benefit and improve the 5 health-related components that are a focal point in physical education. These 5 components are body composition, flexibility, muscular strength, muscular endurance, and cardiorespiratory endurance. Incorporating tumbling or gymnastics can help give the students more opportunities to find an activity that requires being physically active. Some students aren't given the opportunity to do an extracurricular activity like this outside of their school environment because of the cost of money. To conclude, physical education literacy can be found in a number of different places, because a person's physical health is likely something that they think about at least once a day, and many activities involve being fit. Once you get into a specific aspect of fitness, the literacy involved in that aspect varies from person to person. However, since I talked to a tumbling coach, most of what she was literate in can be applied to coaches for all sports, with minor changes. What is important about this is that it shows how literacy within my teaching discipline is something that can be applied to a number of situations. What makes someone in a coaching role have a similar literacy level within the realm of physical education is the fact that we both share the knowledge we have to help children grow as physically fit individuals and help them develop to be lifelong movers.